Okay, guys, once again, very good afternoon. I hope you are all doing pretty well. So, we have successfully covered Java and our collection parts. So, now from today onwards, we are going to dive into the new topic. So, today we are going to start with the SQL. So, before discussing SQL, I need to give one brief description about our database. So what does it really mean by database? So we can simply say that a database is a collection of tables. So a database is a collection of tables. So again, what is table? So a table is a collection of records which can which can contain order. So database is a collection of tables and tables is a collection of records. So where each record is, so there is in a some order for each record. So then what is, there is one more term that is DBMS, database management system. So DBM, it is a software. It is a software tool. So it is a software tool. So the full form of DBMS stands for database management system. So it is a software. So it is used to maintain the collection of databases. So in order to maintain collection of DBs and manipulation. So this is the basic definition of a DBMS. What does it really do? So it is a management systems. It is used to maintain or it contain a collection of DBs. That means databases. So in market, there are a lot of DBMS systems. The popular one is MySQL and Post2Cre, Post2Cre another one, and Oracle and many more. So in order to store, so as per our definition of what is table, so it is a collection of records. So records are data, rows, everything is common. So in order to store our records into the tables, we have to interact with this table. So like how we are interacting, how we are writing Java programs by using Eclipse. So like that, there is a we need a one language. So that language is nothing but SQL. So what is SQL? So basically it stands for structure query language. So everything in a some structure format. So that is the formula for a structure query language. So and it lets you access and manipulate databases. So we know that. So in order to interact with the tables or databases, we need some language that is SQL. So it allows users to access database or manipulate database. That means inside of the data, who can manipulate whatever you want by using this SQL language. So SQL became a standard of the American, so ANSI, American National Standard Institutions, ANSI, in 1986. So it is a standard. So SQL is a standard for all database management systems like MySQL, PostgreSQL. Oracle. So, all these databases store data in structure format. So it stores SQL allows us to store our data into table in structure format. So that is the meaning of it is a standard structure for all MySQL database management systems. So then what can SQL do? So by using SQL language, we can perform all of these operations on tables. So it can execute queries. So queries are nothing but statements. We can consider statements against DBMS. So that means, so let's suppose in our databases, we have a table. Inside your table, there are some records. If you want to fetch, if you want to retrieve the data from the table, so you can write queries. So that is the, we can execute queries against database and we can retrieve the data from database. So we can insert data into database, we can update, we can delete, we can create a new database, we can create a new tables in database. So we can create a storage procedures, we can create queues, we can set permissions on a table also. So this kind of operations we can perform on tables databases. Then why SQL? So why SQL? So basically it allows user to access data in a relational database management system. So you know that relational management database management system, or it is stand for RDBMS. So RDBMS. So relational database management system. That means each database systems can make a relationship between uh, two different tables, two different databases. So it allows user to access data and who can describe the data. So like who can describe the data means, so like what kind of data it is and what are the privileges and how much storage it is occupying. So we can describe that also, and it allows users to define the data in database and manipulate the data. So this is the major one. So we can define data, we can manipulate data, and it allows embedded with the other languages using SQL modules. So that means uh, SQL supports some inbuilt functionalities. So that are the modules, libraries, and pre-compilers, and it allows user to create and drop databases. So you can create new database, you can drop existing database from the database management system, and allows user to create views, story procedure functions, and allow user set permissions. So these are the some worry about the SQL. So like I said, in order to store, in order to in order to use, in order to interact with the database management systems, we always need either of this one softwares. So for our sessions, we are going to use MySQL software, MySQL softwares. So I have already downloaded this MySQL server from the official website. So this is the MySQL installer. So you can find this, just you need to type MySQL downloads for Windows. And you need to go to the first website. And here you need to, here the version 87 is better version. So then you need to select operating system, okay, Microsoft Windows. Here you need to download this option, not 2.1 MB. So you need to download this one, 285 MB. So after clicking this one, you will redirect it to this page. Here, don't don't perform any actions. Just click no thanks, just start my download. Then it will automatically download. So if you just click, you can find, see, it is automatically downloaded. So, but I have already downloaded. So we need to execute this one. You need to give the permission. So here you need to select custom option. So here we are going to customize our MySQL system based on our requirement. So we need to select custom option, then click next. So here you need to select products. So click the expand. So obviously we need to select MySQL server because it execute our queries. So after selecting, you need to shift product to be installed option. Then you need to expand application, and we need to install workbench also. So workbench. So it is kind of a graphical. It contains GUI features. So you need to shift and shell. So you can, it's up to you. You can select or deselect it. It's up to you. For time being, I am selecting. So after selecting these three products, one is MySQL Server, Workbench, Shell. So click next and to execute. So it will take time in order to complete the installation. So let it be. We're going to see here. So the another SQL commands. So there are some standard commands in SQL which are widely using. So those commands are create, select, insert, update, delete, drop. So these are the standard commands in order to interact with the database systems. So without these commands, we cannot perform any operations. So see, the standard SQL commands to interact with the relation database are create, select, and so these commands can be classified into groups based on their nature exactly. So based on their nature, it has been classified into three different categories. One is DDL. So DDL stands for Data Definition Language. Under DML, Data Manipulation Language. DCL, Data Control Language. DQL, Data Query Language. So based on this nature, they classified these kind of languages. So in the DDL, so we have a commands, these three commands. So these are the commands. So these are the inbuilt commands. One is create, alter, drop. You can find the description of the each and every command. So create. So it is used to create a new table, view, and other objects in database. So it allows us to create a new table, new database, and alter. So after creating table or database, if you want to modify, let's suppose if you want to change your database name, if you want to add one more column to the existing table. So in those scenarios, you can use alter command and finally drop. So this is deletes entire table or view or other objects. So it is used to delete it to drop entire database and DML. So data manipulation language. So these commands are used to manipulate our data. For example, if you want to add a new record, you can use insert command. So if you want to update that to the particular record, not enter. If you want to update particular record, In that scenarios, you can use update and finally delete. So these commands you can perform on single level record, but this one you can perform on entire table database on the TCL data control language. So we can give some privileges on table and databases, grant, revoke. So it gives privileges to user. That means so you can give some privileges like so you can allow particular user that user only can able to see the data, but you cannot able to manipulate the data under revoke. So you can revoke, take back. So take back privileges granted from the user under DQL, data query language. So this is the major command. So select. Though we can use this select command with all these commands. So select, so it retrieves certain record from one or more tables. So if you want to retrieve the data from the tables or multiple tables, you have to use this select command. Okay, let's go and verify. Yeah, okay, it's completed. Click next. Ready to configure and click next. Port. So don't change anything. So click it being it default. Next, next. So here you need to set to password. So you can give whatever your password. For time being, I'm giving a small one. And you click next. And you can give the name also. But I am keeping it as it is. Next, next, and execute. It takes some time. Okay, no problem. So these are the some SQL commands. Majorly commands. So this is the syntax. So if you want to create a new database, you need to use, as I already told, DDL, data definition language, create. So create database. And again, here database name, you need to give the database name. So it creates a new database. So after that, you need to use that database because in database management systems, you can have a lot of databases. If you want to if you want to insert particular record, before inserting, you need to select which database you want to use. So we need to use that database. Use a database name, and this is the basic structure. So inside this database, we need to create a table, new table. So for that, always whenever we are going to create a new one, always use create table. So table, because we are defining the table. So that's why we need to give the table. And here we are defining database. So table, here we need to give the table name. And so these are the some fields, columns. Yeah, okay, it can completed, finish, next, finish. Right. So, so after successful installation of MySQL Workbench, so uh, automatically it will open. MySQL Workbench it will open because it contains some graphical features. So here you will find this option, local instance. So forget about this one. So you will get this option. So whenever you click uh, that option will ask password. So there you need to enter your password like MySQL. So this is a user graphical interface. So if you want to perform command line without graphical, you can use MySQL command line. MySQL 8.0 command line client. So open. Here you need to give the password. So while installing the MySQL systems, uh, we given one password. So you need to given that password here. So after that, it will connect our MySQL to MySQL server. So let's perform here. So let's see some options. So this is the output. So whenever you perform operations, the outputs will display here, and these are the some navigations. So by default, you will be navigating to administration. By default, you need to shift from administration to schemas. So this is the one database system which comes at with it is a default database systems which comes MySQL database management systems. And here there are some options. So file. So here you can create a new model query. You can select your script SQL script file from the file manager also, and you can save exit. And here, so it is a save and it is used to open new script file. And this option, so this execute the select. So this particular option is used to execute multiple statement, and this one is used to I execute only one. Uh, let's go. Yeah. So see, so this is the default database. So inside database, there are some nodes. So these are the nodes. So whenever you create a new database, it comes four nodes. One is table, views, story procedure, functions. And inside tables, if you expand, so inside tables, it contain multiple tables. So this sys configure is a one table. So you can expand that. So after expanding, so again you can find. So per each table, again it come four nodes. Column, indexes, foreign keys, triggers. And you can expand and you can see. And like that, so this is the system default database. So let's perform these operations. I want to create one new database. So create, so database. So it gives suggestion also. So database, and here you need to give that database name. So let's suppose our database name is PCS global. So now I need to execute this command. So I need to execute control Z. I need to execute this command. So you can place the cursor. You can choose this option, this power symbol. So you can find the description. It execute the statement under the keyword cursor. So first it will check where the cursor is placed. So based on cursor, it will execute that particular statement only. So you can just click. So you can find the output. So this is the output console. So you can find the green symbol tick. That means this command. So you can say this query, you can say query command has been successfully executed. So that's why it is given green. So and it is given the ID and the time. So what is the action? So we are performing action. We are creating new database. So that way it is action and message. That means one rows affected. So we have executed only one row. So that means one row executed under duration fetch. So that means how much time it takes in order to execute this command. So yeah, we have successfully executed, but where we need to find our database. So after whenever you performing any command, any operations on database, uh, tables, so you can find the either success or failure. But whenever you find the success, so in the left side schemas label, there is a one button, that is refresh button. So you need to click this one, refresh. So then it will fetch the updated data. So see, we have created new database. So we have created new database. So like I said, whenever you create a new database, it always comes with the four nodes: tables, views, story procedure, functions. So we have successfully created table. Uh, so the structure would be like uh, database, tables, table, inside records. Records are data or rows. Yeah. So this is the structure. So database, inside database, there are tables. Inside tables, you can define multiple table. So database, table, tables, but we don't have any table. So I want to create one new table. So let's suppose, can remove this one. Yeah, I want to create one new table, student table. So we know that always we need to use create. Uh, Here you need to, instead of mentioning database, you need to give table, and we need to give our table name, student info. So student info, let's see the structure of the table. So this is the structure. Uh, so table, you need to open parentheses. Inside open parentheses, you can define columns. So these are the columns, fields. You can say columns are fields. So we need to open the parentheses, and here I need to define fields columns. First I need to give the student ID. So student ID. So we know that student ID. So it to store integer data type. So like how the Java supports different data types, SQL also supports some data types. Int, char, varchar, uh, next boolean. So these are the next byte. So these are the some major data types. It is almost similar to programming language. So here we are storing student ID. So we know the student ID, it contains integer data type. So we need to give the int, and then you can give the comma, because we are separating each and every fields. So again, I need to define one more column, student name. So here I need to store string type. So student name. Uh, let's suppose Venkata. So Venkat, we know that Venkat, it is a combination of characters. So, but in SQL, in order to store string, we need to use varchar. Varchar. So inside brackets, inside of open bracket, you need to give the size. Like how array supports size. If you remember that in Java, we are dealing arrays. So always we need to give the size of the array. So like that, we here you need to give the size of the varchar. So for timing, I'm giving the 20. So it stores 20 characters only. I'm separating. So again, I need to check uh, is passed. So it's passed. So it is a combination. It supports only two values. One is either pass or fail. So C boolean. And the final one, mm, let's give uh, address address varchar 30. So here we are creating the simple table. So our table name is a student info. So inside student info, we created some fields. So these are the fields, or you can say columns. So we created four columns. One is student ID. So it is store integer kind of data values. Another one is student name. It stores string and is pass. It store boolean type either pass or fail and address. It store varchar and giving the size 30. And finally, you need to close the bracket. So okay, we created. So actually, this is a single statement, not a multiple statement. So whenever we given this semicolon, that means this is the single statement. So this is our single statement. Now we need to execute. So you can select this one. So you can find the error. So this is the action, our action. So you can find the error code along with the description. So no database selected, select the default DB. So as I already told, so in our my database management systems, who can have a lot of databases. So these are the databases. PCS Global is a database, SIS is a database. So in order to store this particular table, we need to choose which database inside which database I need to define this table. So we need to define this table inside this PCS global DB. So, so as I already told, we need to use database, use keyword. So use our database name is PCS global. Okay, now. So we have use now. So this one is one single statement and this one is a another statement. So I have a two statement or you can say group of statements. Now I need to execute all of these statements at once. So you can choose this option. So execute the selected portion of a script or everything. So you can just click that. Now you can see the, so because here we have a two commands. So that's why you do giving the ID. So 3 and 4. So we have successfully used the two. This is global database and we have defined the data table in particular database. So right click, right, you can clear the console output because here we didn't find the tables. So you need to refresh. So now see tables. We define new table. So that's why now it is showing the arrow mark tables. So if we expand student info, this is one table. Again, if you expand, here you can find some nodes. So these columns. So like I said, you can call it as a column fields. So you can expand this column node and you can see what are the columns inside this particular table's content. So we created a student ID, student name is passed address. So these are the columns. And we don't have So let's see if this option. So now we have successfully created. So like this way, you can create multiple table also. Let's suppose student info uh, 2, student info 2. So let's suppose add contact, uh, email ID. It is a combination of number or string. So varchar better varchar 40. So you need to guys, you need to think, you need to clearly think which data type suitable for our input values. So email, we know that emails, it is a combination of letters and some special characters, numbers. So that's why I have chosen this option varchar. So now you can execute. See, executed successfully. Again, you need to refresh. So now you can find. So inside tables, we have two tables. Two tables. So let's take another file. So this one, click one, it takes another new file. Okay. Now we have successfully created. Uh-huh. So let's suppose you are, if you want to find the description about this particular table, you can do that by using the disk keyword. Disk. So it is a keyword. So the full form of disk is a description of a particular database object. So now our database object is a table. So you need to give the table name, student info. So always complete end with the semicolon. So I need to see the description about the student info. So you can see. So now you can find the description. Like so fields under type. That means which data type, and null, whether it allows the null values or not. So we have allowed all the columns in order to allow the null values and keys. So for time being, we don't have any keys. So on the default one is null. So the default values are null and we didn't have extra. So this is the description of a particular one. Uh, so let's, yeah, okay. Uh, Description student info. Okay. So now we have successfully created data, I mean table. So now I need to insert, I need to add, I need to add new some records, some data into this particular table. So how do we do that? So we need to use insert command. So like I said, so it comes from DML commands. So data manipulation, that means here we are manipulating our table. That means manipulating are nothing but insert, update, delete. So these are all the manipulations. So that's why we need to use insert command. So insert into our table name. You need to mention the table name. So here this column 1, column 2 are nothing but, so you can insert values in a particular column only. Let's suppose here I have a student ID, student name student. So I want to insert records only for student ID, student name and address. I don't want to mention each pass column. So in those cases, you can mention the column names inside these parentheses. And after that, you need to give the values. So these are the inbuilt commands of this insert into values. These are the inbuilt commands. Here you need to mention the values for each and every column. See here, whatever you column data type, the data type should have to match, must have to match this value one. Then only it will execute. Otherwise, it won't execute. So let's do that. So always select into our table name is student info. Then values for time being. Let's insert all the values. So sorry guys, insert insert into. So I am inserting into the student table. I need to values. So insert values I need to give. So first student ID. So student ID is triple two. You need to separate with columns, comma, and student name. So here student name column. So it supports varchar data type. So that means you need to mention that values within the double quotation or single quotation. So student name is Harish. Harish. I need to separate with the comma and it is passed. So it is a boolean kind of. So you can just means pass or fail, true. So next address, let's suppose Mumbai. So you can mention either of single quotation or double quotation, Mumbai. So you need to close the parenthesis and you need to give the semicolon. So this is the structure for inserting a new record. So insert into student. This is our table name and your values. So these are the values. So this here it has to be match the row and along with the data type. So after let's clear the console. So now you can execute this one. So you can find the action message one row affected. So it takes 0.016 seconds time in order to insert this record. So okay, now we have successfully inserted our records. So you can refresh. You can expand columns. Okay, so we have successfully inserted. So in order to see our data, so in order to see, in order to retrieve, in order to fetch the data from our particular table, we need to use one more command. That is, we need to use uh, this language query, that is DQL query language. I mean, yeah. So DQL, we need to use this command select. So it retrieves the certain record from one or more tables. So the basic syntax for select this star. So it indicates everything. So I need to fetch, I need to retrieve everything from table name, our table name. So for time being, I need to select star from student info.
This means row and column. See?
Sorry.
This
Uh,
thing means row and column. The
yeah,
star.
yeah, it star indicate everything like every data along with the field's name also, like a column name also. Just now is in this is like how this came field type null. So like this it come student ID, student name is passed address along with that data also.
Okay, sir.
So select start from student info and you can execute. Now you can find the result. So one more thing, so SQL is not a case sensitive. So here, if you clearly notice, I have mentioned the table name is a lowercase, but here I am using the uppercase. So it is not a case sensitive. So now I can able to see my records. So student ID and student name Harish is passed. Yes, is passed. And he where is from Mumbai. So like this way you can insert values. So let's suppose uh, you can find the allows null values. You can store the null values also. Let's suppose so you can use this query also, or you can directly select. So just hover your mouse on the particular table name, and you in the left side, right side, you can find three options. So in the last option, so this one, if you click that, it will also fetch the same record. I mean, same result. So, and it display the query also. Select start from PCS global student info. So this is our database name and student name. Uh, uh, okay. So for time being, I want to insert some records on particular columns. So I need to insert student ID. Okay, I need to give the student ID, and you need to separate with comma and student name. And here I need to give the address. Here, okay, so here you define the three columns. That means we are telling, hey, SQL Server, I am so insert only a record for these columns only. So, but here we are defined, let's give random triple tree, uh, show is false, challenge. So, but here you are gave four values. Let's clear the console. So now if you try to execute, it will throw an error because the values are mismatched. So you can find the error. So 113. So this is the error code for this one. Column count does not match the value count at row 1. So here you given the column count, total columns 3. But here you are giving the values 4. So it is a mismatch. So that's why it is throwing the error. So that's why it has to be match each and every column value. So student ID, student name, and address. So you need to remove this is passed. Now execute. So now one row affected. So you can find the result. So now you can see. So like I said, so we know that. So default values. So these are the default values, null. So that's why here it is storing the null value. Uh, remove this one. Keep it that same. Copy. Control V. Remove that. Uh, false. Rebel 4. Mm, false. HYD. Okay. So here I am inserting one record at a time. So I want to insert multiple records at a time. So we can do that. You can separate with the comma. So you need to separate, and again you need to open the brackets. I mean open brackets. Here you need to give the values like 555. Let's suppose Vijay, and yeah, true, and he is from Pune. Okay. So again, I want to insert one more record. 666. Uh, let's suppose Manisha. True. He is from Maharashtra. You need to close. Uh, you need to end the query with the semicolon. Then only it will consider. So let's execute this one particular. Now you can see. So 3 rows affected. So because 3 rows. So this one is one row, and this one is another one row, and this one is another. So total 3 rows. So for 3 rows, this command will applicable. So every time it insert into student info values, it execute. So again, it comes insert into student info and it take these values and it match every column also. Again, it will execute this one with these values into into this student info. So that's why it is showing 3 rows affected. Now you can refresh. Now you can select. Now you can verify. So we know that it's supposed to either 0 or 1. So 1 indicate true, 0 indicate false. So here we now you can able to see the values records. So like this way, you can insert multiple values and you can insert particular columns also and you can, so this is the select start from info. Okay. So let's suppose, so cover this one, create. So alter, we know that alter. So what does it really do? So it modifies an existing database object such as tables. So that means we can modify. So you can modify tables and database, not a data. So like before that, let's use this one, drop. So what does it really do? So it deletes an entire table or a view or other objects or a database. Guys, objects are nothing but databases, tables, storage procedures. So these are the objects in database. So it can drop entire. So let's drop this table. Student info 2. So I want to remove, I want to drop, I want to delete this particular student info table from this table. I mean, sorry guys, from this database. So drop. So this is the basic syntax. Drop. You need to mention the database or like database or name, and you need to give the table name. Let's drop table student info 2. So now you can see. So one row affected. So that means we have successfully deleted, removed, dropped this particular table. So this we know this. So this drop command will perform operations on a database or table only. So here we are removing, dropping the table. So that's why you need to give the table, and here you need to mention the table name. So now you can verify that. So inside this PCS to global database, we don't have this student info table. So that means we can conclude successfully dropped, successfully removed this table. Uh, let's go this one. Yeah, order. So it modify an existing database object such as table. So system. So this is a database. Sys. So inside this, these are the objects. Tables is object, views is object, storage procedure is object, function is object. So that is the description about this alter. So it modifies an existing database object. So such as table. Let's so alter. So this is used to alter the structure of database. Not a database, like table. So and it is used to add, delete, or drop or modify columns in existing table. That means you can manipulate, you can alter the tables. Like so here we have a column. So let's consider student ID, student name is passed address. So let's suppose in some circumstances, I need to add some columns. Let's suppose for this particular student info column, I need to add one more column, that is gender. So like it is in a alter. So that means we are altering, we are modifying the existing table. So that is the description. So alter the structure of table, and so it is used to add, delete, or drop, modify the columns. Not a data, columns guys only. In existing table only. So these are the ways. So always alter table. A table name, always you need to give the table name, and here you need to which operations you want to, either you want to add, drop, or modify. So if you want to add, you need to use add, and then you need to use the column name and data type. And to drop, let's suppose I want to drop each passed column from this existing table. You can use the same command. Instead of add, you need to give that drop, then modify. So it modifies the size of the column. Let's suppose here you can find description. See, student name, it is storing 20 characters only. Let's suppose in some situations you want to increase the size from 20 to 50. In that cases, you can use modify column. So we are modifying the columns. So if you clearly observe in the first command, we didn't find the column, but remaining two commands, we need to mention the columns and a column name, data type, and you need to give the new data size. I mean, how much size? Here you need to give the new data size. Uh, so take a new file, retrieve the data, and here. So I want to add one more column for this table. My requirement is I need to add contact number. Contact number, gender. Yeah, gender. No, contact number is fine. So alter. So we need to use the alter. So this command, alter table. So alter table. So here you need to mention alter either table or database. So but our time requirement is table. So we need to use the alter table, and our table name is student info. Student info. So okay, now I need to add one more column. So I need to use add. So if you just type add under control space, you will find the suggestion. Add. So add. Uh, I'm adding new column. So contact. Contact, and always we need to give the, we are defining the columns. Columns are rows. This is the way column name, and we need to the size. Not size. We need to give the data type and also size also. So varchar 13. let's suppose 15. So close. So I am ending the command. So alter. So I am altering this student info table. So adding, by which way were I altering? So we're adding the contact new column. So execute. Now you can find the information. So one row affected, one rows affected records, uh, zero duplicates, no warnings. Everything is perfect and it takes 0.0150 seconds time. Now you can verify that. Description, student info. Execute this one. So now you can find. So student ID, student name is pass address. So the new contact, sorry guys, contact. The new column has been added. So you can verify that by selecting that data, see contact. So by default, it stores null. So like this way, you can add the new column and uh, let's yeah, drop. So okay, now we have successfully added, but I want to remove this contact only. That means I want to remove this particular column only, not entire column. I need particular column. So for that also, we need to use alter command, alter table student info, and here you need to mention the drop. Here we know that uh, drop. So this deletes an entire table view or table other objects. So it supports database tables. But here our requirement is we need to drop only column. So that's why you need to mention which option, like data, I mean, sorry guys, table, database or column. So that's why we need to mention the column. I need to remove only column only. Column, and you need to mention the column name. So I need to remove this particular column only. Contact. Now execute this one. So one row affected, duplicate warnings. So hit the console and you can verify description. So there is a no contact column and you can verify also. So see, it has been removed. So that means we are altering the tables. The another one is modify. So it modifies the columns. Let's suppose here, this is student info. The size of the address is 30. So that means it require more space, memory space. Now I need to decrease from 30 to off. That means 15. So that means I am altering the table. So you need to use the same alter table student info and modify. Modify. Which one you are modifying? Column. So you need to mention the column and you need to mention the column name. That means a new column name. I mean, sorry, no, not a new column. Existing column name with the new size. So address, varchar, our new size is 15. So observe clearly. So keep that in mind. So the default size is the previous size of address is 30. So we are altering. That means we are reducing the size from 30 to 15. So alter table student info. Here you need to give the modify. So add, modify, drop. So modify column. So which column you need to give the column name and varchar. So let's execute. Now you can find the so affected 5 records affected. Duplicates, there is no warning. Now you can verify. So you can verify the result output. It produced the same. But if you see the description about that particular table, see the size has been decreased from 30 to 15. So from 30 to 15. So this is the alter command. So add, if you want to add a new column, always use the add command. If you want to modify column, like if you want to change the data type and size, in those cases you can use the modify. And if you want to delete particular column, then you need to use the drop command. So like this way, you can alter the table. So like this way, you can alter the table. Uh, yeah. See. So like this way, you can alter the table. Mhm. Ah. Ah. Let's suppose. Yeah. So in previous, I have used one command. So that is where that command is. Oh my God. That's one. See, drop table student info 2. So we have dropped out this. So that means uh, whenever you use this drop command, so that means it deletes, it removes everything like a student, I mean table along with the data and structure also. But in some situations, there might be some requirements like just remove the uh, just remove the hold on a second. Yeah. So just remove the records. So these are the records. Just remove the records, not a structure. So the structure should has to be remain same, but the records, it has to be removed from this table, but the structure should remain same. So you can achieve that. There is one more command. So that is truncate. So this is used to remove all record from table, including spaces allocated for the record which are removed. So that means it remove everything except the structure of the table. So this is the command truncate. We are truncating the table and table name. So let's suppose I need to remove everything. So I need to so I need to keep the structure of the table remain same. I need to remove the records. So you can use this. Uh, Go to this one. Yeah, here. Truncate table. Our table name is student info. So I am truncating the table. Which table? Student info. You can, before that, let's clear the console. So truncate table student info one affected. So it takes 0.016 seconds. So that means this command has removed the records or tables. So now you can verify that. See, the table is the same. I mean, it has removed from this database. It is still existing. So now you can verify the description of. particular this table. Execute. See, student ID, student name is password address. So the columns are remaining same. But whenever you fetch, see there is a no records found. So no record found. So that is the difference between drop truncate. Drop. It removes everything along with the structure, uh, structure, columns, data. But the truncate, it removes only records, not a structure. It remains the structure same. But for time being, we don't have any records. Select start from student info, we don't have. So let's insert, copy this one, will copy, control V. Uh, that means false. So I want to execute this one. Call account does not match. Oh my god. So I missed false. Okay. Here this one. Yeah. So now we have 4 rows. We have inserted 4 rows. Let's verify that. Now see the same structure we inserted the records. So this truncate, it will keep remain the structure of the table, but it removes only records. But this drop, it remove everything. Okay. If you see this, select start. Whenever you execute this one, so I am seeing. So, but here we have a less commands. I mean, less records. We have only 4 records. But real time, it contains 1,000 lakhs records. But if you use this command, you will get frustrations. Let's up. I want to find particular. I want to search. I want to search Muni only. So I want to search Muni a record only, like his name, his ID, his name, whether he is passed or not, where he is from. I need to find only Muni record. If you use this record, you need to check row by row where the money is, where the money. You need to check row by row. So in order to simplify the work, SQL allows. It has introduced one more command, that is where. Uh-huh. Introduction. Yeah, where. So SQL also one command. Not actually, it is a class where. So it is a class. So use it to filter the is used to filter the table based on the condition. So that means it filters like how we are using the searching engine option. So in the Windows, we are finding the MySQL. So based on this MY, it is so suggesting that related apps in the same way. So it filter the option. That means it filter the table or database is based on the condition. Here you need to give the condition. The syntax for this one is always it is similar to this one. Control copy. It is similar to this one. But here you need to give one more. Here you need to give the condition. So where here our condition, here you need to give the condition. So based on these conditions, it will fetch the records from the table. Let's suppose here I need to find the money record only. So you can, why it is showing drop? It's not where I was expecting. Okay, here. So I need to find the money record. So mm, go to this one. Yeah, remove this one. Yeah, I need to find money only. So select, I need to everything. Like everything means I need to know ID, his name, his ID, his name, his so whether he's password or address. I need to know everything. That's why you need to use this from star from student info where my condition is, so you need to give the condition like so always, so the condition would be based on the unique values. So here our unique values is student ID. So because every student has some unique ID, so that's why it has some unique ID. So based on our unique ID, you need to give the condition. So student ID is equal to 444. So this is my condition. So this is my condition. Like what it is actually telling. Hey, hey, MySQL server, I am giving this query. Like, oh, I need to fetch uh, every values from this student info based on who is having the ID 40444 student ID. So where our student, so because student ID it is a unique values, you need to give the column name and values. So whenever it execute, clear. So execute. Now see verified. So it retrieve only particular record based on this condition. So it filter the table based on this condition. So it fetches the student ID, money, and his password on there. So let's suppose, what if the table doesn't contain triple line? In this case, it will execute the query successfully, but the result would be different. Now see, 0 rows affected, there is a no result found. So it execute fine, but in the table we wouldn't have that option. So that is the where condition. So see, it execute the everything. Uh see, student ID, student name, we are seeing everything. Uh if you want to see only uh student name address, you can see that. Select start from student info where student ID is equal to 444. But here, instead of giving the star, you need to give the column names. Like how we are inserting these columns, we are matching the values. Now, in the same manner, you need to give the column names. Which columns you want? I want only uh, student name, and you need to separate the columns also. Address. So if you execute, table PCS global student info does not exit. Okay, guys, student info. Now you can observe. So student ID, address. So we are only, it is only retrieving the column based values. Student ID and student. Let's verify executor. Yeah. So we have executed three. So the first one, we are selecting everything from the table without where, without our condition, this command. The second one is, it is retrieving the record based on the condition. This one. The third one, it is displaying the record based on the conditions, but with particular column names. So like this way, you can perform where conditions with the different. You can give not only this one. You can, but real-time scenarios, most of the cases where conditions, the condition would be unique values because student ID is different. You can give the name also. Let's suppose you have to give the column name like student name is equal to money. Now you can execute. Now you can see. So it will perform the same operation. So that is the where you can give the condition and uh, uh, yeah. So truncate, yeah, rename. So if you want to rename the student info, that means if you want to change your table name, so you can use the rename command. So this is used to rename an object in the database. So rename database old table name to new table name. So I need to change my table name from uh, rename table uh, student info to student data. So I am renaming my table name from student info to student data. So by using the rename command, you can execute this one. So the query successfully has been updated. So, but here you can find the label, schemas label. So you need to refresh and you can find this student data. But uh, this one, if you execute this one, it will throw an error. See, so table PCS student doesn't exist. So this table doesn't exist inside this PCS global database because we have successfully renamed from student info to student data. So that's why it is throwing error. So now here you need to change student data. So now you can execute. Now you can see the records. So that is the new. In the same manner, you can uh, rename database PCS global to PCS. Like this, we can read question explicitly. Okay, okay. So rename command will applicable only on table. So we have covered truncate, alter, and rename also. Uh, let's complete this to one. Yeah, update. So this command is used to modify the existing rows. See, rows. We have covered, like means we have altered the table only. But if you want to update the values, let's suppose fetch the data. So I need to change the address. So I need to change the address for Somesh. Somesh. Chennai to Delhi. So here we are performing row level operation. So if you want to perform row level operations, you need to use the update command. Update command. So update. So this command is used to modify the existing rows. It will only update the existing rows, not a new row. So this is the syntax. Update. We need to give the table name, and here this is the new values. Here you need to set the new value. Set column on which column value, and column 2 value, like this it will go. Again we need to give the condition. So let's suppose I want to update into. So I want to update my student data. So I want to update my student data. So update student data. Here I need to mention the new values. Set. So our requirement is what? So our requirement is we need to update the address for Somesh from Chennai to Delhi. So here you need to give the address, column name, and uh, Delhi. Okay, we have successfully updated. But if you execute, the MySQL will get confusion like on which row, like on which student name I need to update the values. So for that you need to give the condition filter out where student ID is equal to 333. So this is my requirements. So we're telling the MySQL server, hey MySQL, so the student ID who is having student ID 33, update his address. I mean, update his current address to this new address. Set, remove this Chennai and do mention insert this Delhi. So you can execute. Now you can verify one row. Here now you can verify this option. Here in the previous, it will throw some zeros. But here we have changed one. So row matched one. So now we can verify that. See. So we have successfully updated the address. In the same manner, you can update ID also. Let's suppose give the ID 444. Set student ID. So student ID, I need to update student ID 999, where student ID is 44. That means who is having student ID 444, update his current student ID from 444 to 999. Now you can execute. Okay, one row change. Now you can observe. See, and previous it was 444. Now it has been changed from 444 to 999. So like this way you can update the row only. So not a table, row. So that is the update. The final one. So delete. So this command is used to delete existing rows. So there are three options. Uh, One is drop, truncate, delete. So many members get confusion here. But in the most of the whenever you find the technical interviews, they will ask difference between these one. So so it removes everything, everything, including data, structure, table. truncate. It removes only data except structure, table structure. But the delete. So it is used to remove particular row only, not entire. So that is the difference between these three commands. So it drops everything, it truncate only, it removes only data except table structure and delete. So it deletes only particular row only. So you can find the description. So delete. So this command is used to delete existing rows record from a table. So delete from table. Uh, in some situations, it can remove everything if you don't speci specify the condition. So if you don't specify the condition, then it will remove everything. Otherwise, it removes only particular record. So this is the command delete from table. So this is our condition. Let's suppose I want to delete this triple line. Delete. Uh, so we need to mention the student. Mm, mm, Student. Delete student data where student ID is equal to triple line. Okay, sorry guys. We need to mention the from. We forget it. We always need to use the from where. So delete. We are telling the MySQL server, hey server, delete from this particular student data table. So who is having the student ID triple line? If you execute, now see the row has been successfully executed. Now you can verify. So there is a no. So we can conclude this. It removes only particular one. But what if you forgetted the mention the condition, then it removes everything. So see delete even the three rows affected because three rows were presented. See, you don't have, but it keeps remain this structure. Uh, yeah. So truncate and delete, it almost perform the same operation, but to delete it accept where condition. Truncate it doesn't play the where condition. So that is the difference between these three commands. So most of the interview questions definitely in the technical point of view, they will ask difference between truncate, drop, delete. So okay. Yeah, okay guys, so that's it for today. If you have any queries, you can ask me.